Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Marek Connell English. Today I'm going to be doing something special. One of the best ways to impress examiners or native English speakers is to use expressions, unique expressions that generally only natives know. So in this video I'm going to bombard you with unique expressions that we use in English, and hopefully you'll be able to incorporate them into your speaking. So let's start with when the shit hits the fan. Cuando la mierda pega el ventilador. When the shit hits the fan, it means it's a very bad situation. And you can use this in different ways. You can say, I was at work last week and the shit hit the fan. It was discovered that the boss had been stealing money from the company and everybody went crazy. The shit hits the fan is the main expression. Obviously you're not going to use this in an exam, but if you're speaking to an English speaking person, you can use that. Another cool expression is that's just the tip of the iceberg. So eso es solo el pico de iceberg. That basically means that that's just the small part of what I'm saying. For example, if we think about child labor in some of the developing countries, we can say that thousands of children are working under the age of 10, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's only what we know about. But maybe there are even more children working that we don't know about. So the tip of the iceberg is just the insignificant small part which is hiding the bigger part underneath of a problem, of an issue, of something. Another great expression, if you don't know what to say, is I lost, or I have lost my train of thinking. This translates as he perdido mi tren de pensamiento. And you can say, I have lost my train of thinking, or I have lost my train of thought. And that's effectively the equivalent of saying, he me metido en un jardín. I have forgotten what I was talking about. This is a really cool expression. I use it all the time. In Spanish, it's me suena. And in English, it rings a bell. Now, don't be tempted to put me anywhere in this. We don't say it rings me a bell, or it rings a bell to me. We just say it rings a bell. That film last week. Yeah, it rings a bell. Or what was that actor's name? I can't remember, but the film does ring a bell. So we don't use me anywhere in this. And the negative, no me suena, it doesn't ring a bell. Don't be tempted to put S there, because doesn't is already third person. So it doesn't ring a bell. That new series? No, it doesn't ring a bell. I haven't heard of it. Another nice expression, there is no way in hell. And this is basically ni de coña. So for example, there is no way in hell that I would use a PC instead of a Mac, because Mac is my weapon of choice. That's another cool expression. Your weapon of choice is the equivalent of what you prefer. So if we're talking about alcohol, I could ask you, what's your weapon of choice? What's your favorite drink? What drink do you prefer? And weapon is arma. So this is, ¿qué es tu arma de elección? Going back to there's no way. You don't have to say in hell. You can just say there's no way that I'm going to work for free, or there's no way that I'm going to sacrifice my time. There's no way that I'm going to help him to do that. Hell no. Now this is a very American expression, but we use it as well in Britain. And I could ask you, would you eat cockroaches for breakfast? Cucarachas. You could say, hell no, or no chance. No hay posibilidad. No posibilidad. And here you could also say, instead of there is no way, you could say there is no chance. And you could say there is no chance in hell, or there is no chance that I would eat cockroaches for breakfast. This is a funny expression. It's quite sexual. Is that a mobile in your pocket? Is that something in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? Now, this is suggesting that the something in your pocket looks like an erection. You're referring to a man normally. And the idea is that a mobile in your pocket, or do you have an erection? Are you just happy to see me? Is the equivalent of do you have an erection? A funny expression we have is, it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion in the ocean. Now, the size of the boat is referring to the man's private parts, and the motion in the ocean is referring to the man's ability to move and satisfy the woman. To hit the nail on the head. Nail is clavo in this case, and the head is the top of the nail, which is the point where you want to hit the nail. So the idea is that, sometimes when you try to hit a nail, you might miss, or you might even hit your thumb, and that would hurt a lot. But if you hit the nail on the head, you get it right on the correct point. So to hit the nail on the head is to get something exactly right. Now, the way that we say vale la pena in English is it's worth it. And we do say it here twice. It is strange for some foreigners, but if you say learning English is worth it. So this it replaces the thing that you think that vale la pena. So going to the gym 3 times a week is worth it. Do you think it's expensive? No, I think it's worth it. We don't know what I'm talking about in this context, but that's how you'd use the expression. And the negative is it's not worth it. This is a cool expression. You wish jellyfish. Now, jellyfish is medusa, and notice that wish rhymes with fish. In Spanish, apparently, it's que más quisieras. You say this when somebody is saying something cheeky. You're with your friend having dinner, and you see your friend's plate and you ask them, can I have your last piece of chicken, for example? And they might say to you, you wish jellyfish. So it's quite a sarcastic expression, but it's funny. Now, cheeky is something that you can say to kids and you can say to adults. The fucker bit, the cheeky fucker, is when it's only for adults, obviously, and it's when somebody offends you, for example. So imagine that somebody tries to trick you. You can tell your friend, what a cheeky fucker. He tried to trick me out of, 100 euros or some kind of amount of money. This is a nice way to talk about something going up, una subida. So, for example, you can say, my level of English is really going up at the moment, or my level of English is going, present continuous, is going sky high. Or, as a verb, you can say, my English is really skyrocketing. Notice again, present continuous, this is a verb, so this is a compound verb, really. So, when we use in present continuous, it becomes, my English is skyrocketing. This is a cool one. There is no love lost. Basically, it means that you haven't lost any love for the person or the situation. It hasn't affected you emotionally. So he doesn't want to come on holiday with me, that's okay. No love lost, or there is no love lost. I haven't lost any emotions for the person. It hasn't affected me emotionally. To be pushed from pillar to post. This basically is when somebody or a situation is giving you the runaround. Now, this is another expression, to be given the runaround. To be given the runaround, to be pushed from pillar to post. A pillar is un pilar, and post is a similar thing to a pillar. It's talking about being moved from one place to another. So very often with government organizations, if you're trying to sort out some documentation, you might be pushed from pillar to post. You might be sent from one place to another, and you're not really solving your situation, which can be frustrating. This is when somebody is making you do lots of things in lots of different places to solve something, and it's just a difficult process. So bureaucracy, basically. If you feel like you don't trust the situation, you can say, I smell a rat. Now, I wouldn't change this. I smell rats. No, we don't say I smell rats. We don't say the plural version. It's literally how you see it here. I smell a rat. I feel like something is not right in this situation. You can also say something smells fishy about this situation. Something doesn't seem right about this situation. So I smell a rat, or something smells fishy. This is a cool one. It's a pain in the neck. It's a pain in the backside, a bit ruder. And it's a pain in the arse, is a bit rude. Okay, so all of these mean un coñazo. Don't change this the for my, because if you say it's a pain in my arse, then you're literally saying that there's a problem with your backside. Only use it's a pain in the arse, or it's a pain in the neck. This is probably the most polite option. To rub something in is to chinchar, effectively. If somebody you know has done something bad or silly or embarrassing, and you're constantly reminding them about it, then that's rubbing it in, annoying the person. To rub is frotar. To rub it in, it's always it. It's basically frotando algo que te molesta, rubbing something that annoys you. Off key, if something is not good or very bad, we can say off key. Now, fuera de tono is, if something's off key, it means that you're singing it in a bad way. And we use this for anything that is done badly. So I could say, the way that you behaved was really off key, fuera de lugar. An interesting way to say when you're not feeling happy, I'm feeling a bit down today, which means I'm feeling a bit ill or I'm feeling a bit sad. And another way is I'm feeling a bit under the weather, bajo del tiempo. A really good expression for the exam is on one hand or on one side you have this situation, you have X, and on the other side, or on the other hand, you have Y. Now, in the first part, the is optional, okay? But in the second part, when you say on the other hand, you have to say the. A nice alternative to that is on the flip side. So on the one hand, you have this, and on the flip side, so this is the equivalent of the second sentence, on the flip side, you have something else. And flip side is a nice word. It's something that most foreigners won't know. This is something that I teach my students all the time, a catch-22. Okay, so a catch-22 is effectively a vicious circle. Círculo vicioso. And this is from a book in 1961 by this author, Joseph Heller. And since then, this has become a common expression that we use. If something's a difficult situation, you can say, you know, it's a catch-22. It's very difficult to decide what to do. Now, the way that we say aprovechar in English is to take advantage of something. So I like to take advantage of my time and read books. We say tomar ventaja de algo or hacer lo mejor de algo, to make the most of something. Really good expressions, these two. If something takes its toll on you, te pasa la factura. Now, toll is peaje. For example, toll charge, cobra and toll. I don't know, let's have a quick look at what toll is. A fixed charge or tax for a privilege, especially for passing across a bridge or along a road. So, cobra impuesto, something like that. So, if something takes its toll on you, te pasa la factura, and it's effectively algo toma su peaje de ti, or su impuesto. So, for example, studying Spanish really took its toll on me. Another way of saying I'm really busy, and this is a really nice expression, if you ever say this to an English person, they will be shocked. You can say I'm snowed under with work at the moment, or I'm snowed under at the moment. And that basically means that you have a lot of work. It's like an avalanche of work. And you can see here, this is the equivalent of being snowed under. You're covered with work. And yeah, the paper is white, so it's almost like it's snow. So that's why we maybe say I'm snowed under. This is a really cool expression. I guarantee that very few foreigners know this. To have the gift of the gab. Now it means tener labia. And if you can convince somebody to do something, then you have the gift of the gab. Oh, we also say blag. To blag your way into or out of something. So to blag your way into something or to blag your way out of something is to get something or avoid something with the gift of your communication. And it's similar to having the gift of the gab. Another way of saying this is to be a smooth talker. And a smooth talker is, again, somebody who is very good at communicating and convincing people to do what they want them to do. Now, in terms of, I think is a really, really useful expression. I use this all the time in English, and I always said en términos de in Spanish until I learned that it's en cuanto a. And I think that's a really useful expression to use when you're in an exam and when you're expressing yourself. But another way of saying in terms of is when it comes to chocolate, I like all kind, for example. I'm always using this expression with my students, and they're always initially surprised and don't know what it means. If something is your cup of tea, it means that you like it. So I can say, for example, I don't like heavy metal music personally. So I can say that heavy metal music is not my cup of tea. Always singular. Use this for a question or for negative. We don't really use it for positive. Is reggaeton your cup of tea? No, it's not really my cup of tea. If something costs a lot of money, you can say it costs an arm and a leg. You can also say that you have to pay through the nose. So to pay through the nose for something is to pay an excessive amount of money for something. It's almost the idea of paying with blood coming through your nose because it costs so much money that it makes your nose bleed. Something that people like to do nowadays is to shop until you drop. Haciendo compras hasta que caes, effectively. So it's intensive shopping, basically. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope it was useful. If you did like it, then hit the like button below and also subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments or suggestions for future videos, then please make your comments below as well. If you'd like a 2-page copy of the expressions that I spoke about in today's video, which basically looks like this, then send me an email to maricconnell@hotmail.com and I'll send you a reply email with the PDF attached. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, good luck with your exams.